Nintendo is doing something that I didn't think a lot of people seen coming. And that is raising the prices of games even further. $80 for digital. See those prices on screen? Those are digital prices because the physical prices are going to be $90. So it's what? I think the prices for a lot of games went up to $70, so it's like a $10 to $20 increase in prices. And who knows if those prices don't get raised further. Um, I would not be surprised if GTA 6 or something comes out at $100 or $110 at this point anymore because of, you know, everything that's going on in the world right now. And on top of that, companies being greedy. It's like, hey, you know what? Even if it isn't affecting our bottom line, we can raise the prices of games because everyone else is raising the prices of games. But the thing is, there's a reason why GTA and Nintendo would be able to get away with it and other companies would not be able to get away with it. Brand loyalty and IP play a huge role in people willing to spend more money. Apple is a good example of this. Apple devices, a lot of them are overpriced, very expensive. They're supposed to be like the premium product, to make you stand out better. It's kind of like owning a fancy car, but with phones. That's what they go for. Thing is, Ubisoft is not anywhere near in that ballpark. So let's use Ubisoft for example. Do you think they could really get away with selling their games for 80, 90, $100? I'm sure some people would buy them, don't get me wrong. But not enough for their game to actually succeed. Who cares if they sell 2 million copies? If they needed 5 or 6 or 7 million copies to break even. It's like people don't understand the difference between revenue and profits. If who cares if you made $200 million in revenue, but you didn't make any profit at all because your game cost $400 million to make, or $500 million to make. You're in fact having a loss of $300 million, and that is something that a lot of these other AAA corporations don't seem to understand. You're not on the same level as Nintendo. You're not on the same level as Grand Theft Auto, the previous Grand Theft Auto games. I have no idea how well this new Grand Theft Auto game is going to turn out. Do they still have it in them? When you go, what was it, like 13 years? 12 or 13 years, I want to say, before releasing another GTA game. I'm wondering if you still have it in you to make a good GTA game. That's coming from from my perspective. So I'm just taking the wait to see approach on that one. But the name and the brand of the fact that you're having a GTA 6 come out will sell that game regardless of how good or bad that game is. They would have to seriously mess up, like I just can't fathom them messing up that badly, where they would not sell a good amount of copies, like tens of millions of copies, because that's GTA. GTA is a very, I would say there is a bit of love-hate relationship with Rockstar, and the fact that they attack their fans and community a lot, doing a lot of self-inflicted harm with some of their some of their ways, like going after mods, going after the actual fans, content creators. Some deserved, some not deserved. But I will say this: they can get away with it. The games are good, and we have precedent for stuff like this occurring. You go back and you look at things that gamers have backlash at to try and get rid of: microtransactions, gotcha mechanics, loot boxes, surprise mechanics, or whatever the hell EA called it. These are some of the things that gamers try to rally against, and probably it's like a huge like backlash. A lot of the biggest content creators were covering this. They're still there. They're still there. Why is that? Simple. It's because certain games that fall under those brackets are good gameplay wise. Or they found a way to psychologically manipulate people into playing games that are mediocre, like mobile games and whatnot. But they found a way to use your favorite IP, whether it be like Naruto, or Dragon Ball, or Bleach, One Piece. They'll use these big, powerful IPs to make a mobile game and then get you hooked and then try and keep you playing with dailies, weeklies, monthlies, all these different ways to, try and get your favorite characters. And they'll get you hooked by, you pulling a lot of like really fun characters or characters you might be interested in playing from those. And then that's when they get you. And then they get you through psychological manipulation. Whereas here, if the games are good, you're going to want to play them because the games are good. Let's take a look at Mario Kart World. That's a game kids will play for a long time. Like, you could play that at like a party, family get together. If you have kids, your kids might, have friends over. I'm not sure if, the phones have kind of put a damper on that or not. I'm not sure if, people actually hang out anymore like that, or if it's just all online. Either way, you can play Mario Kart World. Heck, you could play with your kids. You could play with, if you invite friends over, you don't even have to be a kid in order to play. It's a game for everyone. That game will probably sell really well, even like at $80, $90, it probably still sell really well. Just one of those games that you can keep coming back to. But if some AAA developer gives us a game like Vampire Survivors, while it's a fun game, it's not worth $80, $90. Vampire Survivors got as big as it did because it was reasonably priced. It was at the $3 for early access, $5 full price. Then you got the DLCs, which actually provide, or expansions, or whatever the hell you want to call it, that allow you to buy more content, for your game. And it's reasonably priced, so a lot of people bought the DLCs. Thing is, if they were to try to have charged $70, $80, $90, Vampire Survivors would not have gotten as big, and they wouldn't have had as big as word of mouth spread. Because people will say, yeah, this game's fun, and I'm enjoying it, but this ain't $80 fun. This ain't $70 fun. How many times have you seen some of your content creators that you watch come out and say stuff like that? Like Coke Harness, for example. I've seen him in the past where he'll say, yeah, this is fun, but I'm not sure if this is X price fun, And I think other content creators as well have said something along those lines as well. I'm paraphrasing a bit. That might not have been exactly what they said, but they say stuff similar to that, where they could be like, yeah, you know what? What would be a good example of this? I think Assassin's Creed Shadows, is actually a pretty good example of this. A lot of people said, yeah, the game is fine. It's not $70 fine, but it's, if you pick it up for like $10, $20, that would be an okay price to potentially pay for a game like that. I personally have not played it, so I can't comment whether that's true or not from my perspective or my view. But, I've seen people actually bring that up. The price tag being the biggest thing against Assassin's Creed Shadows. Besides, obviously, all the other issues that they had with it. I'm not going to go into them because there's a whole long list of it. But, just from, the gameplay perspective, yeah, all the things they had going for it it's not worth that price. It's not worth $60, $70, $80, $90 for it. Ubisoft and other AAA publishers might convince them their games are worth $80, $90, but I'm telling you one thing. If Spyro the Dragon 4, like if it ever releases or if we ever get it, Spyro the Dragon 4, I'm not paying 60, 70, 80, $90 for. That's like a 30, 40 game, $30, $40 game. If you can't budget your game properly, that's on you, my guy. That's not a me problem. You know, maybe you overhired. That's not my problem. So, the way I see it, there's so many problems going on with the video game industry, and these price tag increases are just part of them trying to, solve the problem. Actually, to be honest, Nintendo's usually, from what I've heard, been pretty good with that. I think the reason why they're raising the prices, personally, like, this is just my opinion, I think because they believe they can get away with it. They see other people wanting to raise the prices. They see the maybe, actually I take that back. Maybe the whole things going on around the world, like tariffs and whatnot, and the whole economy wars that are going on right now, maybe they do have to raise the prices to, get the same amount of money back. That could be. I'm not 100% sure on that. But, yeah. I for me personally, a lot of these games that are, like, seriously, I'm telling you one thing. I'm not paying $80 for fucking Kirby. I'm not. I wouldn't pay $70 for Donkey Kong Bonanza either. The Zelda games, maybe. Definitely not for Breath of the Wild. I wouldn't pay $70. $80 for Tears of the Kingdom, maybe. I would have to do more research on the gameplay. I have not played either of those games, but one of the things that turned me off of the first one was, from what I've seen, the severely weak weapons. How little durability they have and how quickly they break. Probably wouldn't spend $70 on a Breath of the Wild game. Mario Kart World, that's a maybe. Mario Party Jamboree, that's like a hell no. I'm not paying $80 for that. Because that's a game you play with other people, not the AI. And very few get-togethers where you would actually have like, for me personally, where people would be willing to play a game like that. So, yeah. A lot of games would not fit the $80 to $90 price tag for me. Because here's another way I look at it. I can pick up Pal World for $30. I can pick up V Rising for like $30. I can pick up Enshrouded for like $30. Age of Mythology Retold, a remaster, or actually I should say a remake, is like $30 plus $25 if you want all the 2 expansions that they're planning on making, one that's already released, and an extra god for Norse. I would look at those, that kind of value and what I'm getting, and I would see you don't have that replay value for me personally. I would not be willing to spend that kind of money on it. It's one of the reasons why I stick to Steam and PC for most of my gaming, because they offer quality at a pretty good price most of the time. Now, obviously, some game developers will put price, they place their own prices and whatnot, but usually you have some pretty good sales on Steam or through something like Green Man Gaming? And I think one other place where they'll have a good price on it. So, good quality of games, good price. I honestly, Nintendo is not looking like the Nintendo Switch 2. I think is a hard pass for me. Or is that a hard pass? No, it'd be easy pass. Easy pass. But I'm gonna wait to see how this unfolds. Maybe something will come from there that like, okay, you know what, you convinced me, but for the most part, I think the price it's too bad. It's too overpriced for a lot of these games, and I know they're still gonna sell like crazy because it's Nintendo. That's just the way I see it. If I'm wrong, I would be happy because that means people are finally putting their foot down on these video game companies continuously raising the prices instead of managing their studios properly. Anywho, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.